ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is first 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah.
What is up, everybody, on this somber Monday of Labor Day after week one for some of us?
Not somber for me. 1-0. 1-0. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. I'm feeling good. Shout out not working. Shout out the government for this beautiful holiday. Shout out this beautiful weather. It's raining. Gonna water my grass. The flowers are gonna bloom. What a beautiful Monday. Welcome to September. My team's 1-0. Retweet if you want to know.
Well, I guess you know who's 1-0 in the podcast world for us, for damn sure. But hey, other than that, man, we had some great football all weekend long. A lot of drinks were had. A lot of retweets and tags were made, and bookmarks revealed for sure. But hey, let's get into it. We'll start off with week one, and we'll start off with Texas. They were the first game of the week. Before we get into that, how about Corso going perfect for all his picks?
Look,
I mean,
there's no universe where I don't think it's rigged at this point. Like, to go perfect, and then, the parlay, if you did the parlay, which I didn't because I didn't think about it, but I wish I would have because I'd have $30 in my bank account. It's rigged, obviously. But anyway.
What an unreal run. Also, just like, we're talking about the games, but some of the calls he made, some of the picks in the moment were like, these are lunatic decisions.
his first time he ever picked against Notre Dame.
Yeah, he just went out with a bang. Just talk about the Sunshine Scooter.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna leave y'all with something. Y'all better bet on it." And shit, I didn't. I kind of wish I did. Now I'm like,
yeah, I do too. At least my day wouldn't be as bad.
yeah, even if it was $5, it would have been a good hit. You'd be like, "Yeah, whatever. We'll put it on the old guy, see what he can do." But hey, let's get into it.
Still would have been like $6.50, I think, even if we would have put $5 on it.
Yeah. But hey, let's jump into it. Texas falls to OSU at the Horseshoe, 14-7. Arch did not play a great game. There were some real evident mistakes had and made. Credit to Ohio State's defense for giving him coverages that he was not ready for and would make mistakes on. Some key factors that I did like: Texas running game did look pretty good. Weisner comes out with 80 yards. Can't really knock that. Baxter had 40 yards off of 10 carries. So they both look pretty good on it. When Arch would pull it down and run, he looked good with the ball as well. The new tight end looks like he's there to make some plays. He had 4 receptions for 50 yards. Parker, with the only touchdown, looked good. He had another reception that looked good as well, but that touchdown was huge and needed whenever he caught that one in. Other than that, I think the game started off slow for Texas. It looked like for both teams, honestly, because, nobody was really trying to take any risks to start. Super slow for Texas, and then they started to kind of let it rip, but it was almost too late for it to really matter. Got a late touchdown, and then you end up with the ball with a chance to go tie the game up and just don't get it done yet again. I think that's a key factor in what Texas has got to fix is red zone. You got to think about the last 4 losses for Texas. In 9 trips to the red zone, they have a total of 24 points, and only 3 of them were touchdowns. And that's huge. And you got to think about it. Both semifinal games, Texas is going in one to move on to a national championship that they'll convert. The last one was to tie the game against Oklahoma State. They strip fumble for a touchdown for Ohio State, and this last one was driving down the field, 4th down. Arch had pressure in his face, forces a throw this short. Sark's got to do something. Something's got to change when it comes to red zone calling. I think outside of that, he can't be that conservative in a game. I think the offense looked good outside of Arch's mistakes that he missed, which were very evident. I think it was a calm, slow played game. They didn't really take any huge risk. The big thing that stood out for me good wise is offensive line only gave up 1 negative play, 1 sack for -1 yard. Other than that, No negative plays for the offensive line. So you can't really fault them on that. So that was good. The defense played good, but not good enough. You gotta force a turnover. You gotta get something. You can't make those 2 penalties that you made to give Ohio State that first touchdown. And then hey, the second touchdown, the DB was there. The DB had to break up. It was a double catch. He knocked the ball away. Just an outstanding play by Tate to catch it again in the end zone, give him that second touchdown. Other than that, that's all I really got. When I went back and looked at the film and watched it more, Arch had 7 throws that were underthrown. He had 6 throws that were too high. You got it. And some of these throws were easy. Some of these throws he just needed to settle his feet and everything else. And then I don't know if y'all noticed it, but a lot of these throws he wasn't throwing in a normal mechanics. Like he was trying to sidearm him, like Quinn.
He looked
Quinn. Yeah, Quinn was known for his sidearm throws, and it looked like Arch was trying to do that on a bunch of these throws. And I was kind of like, "You've never done that before. I don't understand the mechanics on that." But hey, it is what it is. That's what I think out of it. Honestly, on paper, Texas beat Ohio State in every stat except the one that matters, and that's the scoreboard. So that's all I got to say on it. What y'all got? What are y'all's thoughts?
Yeah, obviously Arch stands out, right? Like we talked about this leading up to this game. Most hyped up player in the last 10, 15, maybe even 20 years. I think we threw that around a couple times. I agree, just didn't look good. There's really no way around it. I'm not here to shit on Arch, but at the end of the day, kind of it went similar to how I was worried it would go for y'all. With like hostile crowd, he struggled early. The first couple of drives, he looked, borderline lost. Like
first throw of the game,
huh?
The first throw of the game was like,
yeah, game. It's like that was a rollout, right? He like rolls out and just a horrible throw. And then obviously the interception was a bad ball. He just hung it out there. The DB kind of baited him a little bit, obviously, because he was able to jump in front of it. So to me, the story of that game was obviously Arch, right? Another thing that stuck out to me is, y'all got stopped on 4th and goal twice, which, that's kind of, where I thought Texas would shine this year because, I know statistically over the last several games, they haven't done great in the red zone. And obviously great being scoring touchdowns, right? And Sark also, just kind of didn't look himself calling plays. Very conservative, which, again, I understand it's Arch's first game. I kind of figured first quarter, second quarter be kind of conservative. However, it seemed like the whole game it kind of stayed that way. When you would take a shot, it'd be like the most obvious situation, right? You get a second one, you throw a deep ball, and now you're at third and one, then you get stuffed. So it's like, now you're punting, right? At the end of the day, I don't know, man. I don't know if it was receivers just not getting separation. Obviously we all know Ohio State has a good defense. That's no secret. I don't know if it was just Arch was, not really going through all his progressions, not getting to all his reads. I don't know what it was. But unfortunately, it just kind of bit him in the ass all game, right? So that's kind of what I have wanted. Shout out to the Parker kid. That was a hell of a catch. Great catch. But yeah.
I thought the moment looked too big for Arch, right? I don't think it's an indication of what Arch is going to be in his career. The moment was too big for him. His feet were never quiet in the pocket. His mechanics went to shit. There's a lot of talk about the Sark play calling. I think it's kind of a combo of like what Arch looked like early, where like you condensed it. Also, a lot of Sark's play calling is RPO game, and I've seen a lot of clips today and yesterday of like Arch just making the wrong decision on the RPO and not pulling the ball when he should have, or pulling it when he should have handed it off. Like, I think that plays in a factor. I thought one of my concerns, I expected the Texas wide receiving core to get a little bit more separation than they did. And that was something, Arch struggling did not shock me. I figured this would happen at some point this year, right? And I figured it'd be against an Ohio State or a Georgia or one of the better defenses he played that they would get him confused and he would struggle. Right, I didn't think he struggled to the level he did, but the thing that really surprised me was the Texas receiving corps just felt like they didn't get a lot of separation, right? Now, again, I don't know how much of that is. I'm not an offensive coordinator not to break down film and tell you. I don't know how much of that is that, like, Arch didn't look comfortable. I also thought the O-line, while they played okay, I thought they gave up a lot of pressure interior in Arch's face, which makes it really difficult on a young quarterback. Sark's got to figure out the red zone for Texas. Like, this is becoming too big of a story where, like, it's bad in the red zone. Like, it almost feels like if you're playing the Sark offense, like, let them get to the 17-yard line and then we're be fine, right? Like, there were some odd calls in the game. I did think it was pass interference from Ryan Wingo, the deep ball. Don't think that changed the game. I don't think he catches it, even if they, right? Like, I don't think anything changes, but Arch will be better. Texas will be better. Sark's a good play caller, but my concern, if I'm a Texas fan, would be, do we have a receiver that can get separation, or is it a receiver problem not getting separation, or is the fact that we couldn't call plays that because our quarterback just was Sark had his hand tied behind his back because it didn't feel like Arch could do anything at some points.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look for sure because I don't really remember seeing many RPOs in this game, and that's usually what what Sark
They did
lives
some
off of.
option stuff where it may not look like it because it looks like a draw play, but he doesn't pull it where, like, he clearly could have pulled the ball and he just didn't.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I saw a few of those too. I mean, obviously, Monday morning quarterback is easy, right? Like we're watching replays after replays, but yes, I did also see that, and I did want to touch what you just said too. The O line didn't give up a lot of sacks, but I'd love to know what the pressures were because there were several times where, I mean, he had very very little time. So anyway, go ahead, Bo.
Well, and that was actually something big I was going to touch on where, I saw some pressures that the O-line did give up on the interior, but I mean, really for the most part, every time you would see Arch drop back for a pass, I mean, he was taking 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds to sit there and try to make a read on the offense when clearly he could have pulled it because he had enough time in the pocket. He could have pulled and got some yards on the ground. I mean, because it looked like Sark a lot of times would, have the back stay back and add extra, blocking for him. So where I do think, they did beat them offensively in every statistic down the board, as Pete, you mentioned, and everyone has posted online. It's just, I think Arch should have used his ability of his legs because people have talked about how mobile of a quarterback he is. He should have displayed that against OSU. Okay, so what? You don't get a 15-yard burst run up the middle, against their linebackers. You got to pick it away. And I'm not going to highlight Notre Dame by any stretch because they ended up losing their game as well. But Carr, in some of his instances where he couldn't get anything open, he did kind of break through his line and then tried to run the ball at least. So I don't know. Yeah, Texas is gonna have to figure out who their major receivers are as well too, because yeah, it was a rough watch for me compared to what I've seen the last 2 years out of the Texas team. So, Arch will get it together. I'm not really worried about that by any stretch of the imagination. He's got the rest of the year to improve. So, definitely a tough first game. Tough go at it, but yeah, I mean, I think this Texas squad is going to bounce back, and obviously the defense can hold their own for the most part, aside from a double bounce catch in the end zone. So, and you can't really do much about that.
Yeah, we need to make sure he said Texas has an elite defense.
Oh, absolutely.
That was two of the best defenses in the country. Like, that Texas defense is really good. They're going to be in every game they play. The question mark's going to be whether or not Arch settles in and they can move the ball efficiently. That's the question.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and they got to overcome the penalties. Like, you can't have these penalties that are going to either put the ball back when you're on offense or give the opponent's offense extra snaps with the ball.
Because at one point it was six penalties for 50 yards to, I think, 1 for like 12. I think I saw on the ticker. I mean, you can't be giving up almost 50 yards worth of penalties when the other team's got 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
hey, and shout out Grayson Littleton. He was one of the guys that I mentioned to you guys about, up and coming freshman. I didn't think he was going to get many reps, and he came in and he played big. I mean, he was the highest graded cornerback by PFF at cornerback for freshman this past in week 1. So hey, and I didn't think he was going to get as many reps as he did, and he played a lot more than I expected. But other than that, I mean, shout out LaFayette too, the other linebacker, the unsung linebacker. We always hear about Anthony Hill Jr. LaFayette was playing lights out. I enjoyed watching him all over the field. So should be a fun game. I mean, we'll see how it goes moving forward. But I don't think we have anything to worry about the next 4 weeks because we got some pretty easy cupcakes going on. So everybody will probably be back on the hype of Arch again because we play, like I said, a bunch of cupcakes before we get to Florida. But moving on, let's get to the next one. The one I think that stunned us all. We all picked. Maybe this is a curse. Maybe this is a curse that we taken over from College Game Day, because usually when everyone picks the same team, it doesn't really go right there. And Cole, I'll let you lead it off with your Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, fuck you guys for that curse, by the way. This is all y'all's fault. And this is also Corso's fault. Bama got dominated. I mean, you know, I don't know that I've ever been more high on a team and just been slapped in the face watching an entire football game. You know, just complete domination on both sides of the ball up front. O-line got pushed around. D-line got pushed around. Defense looked soft shit. I'm going to say that a few times during this because I think everyone needs to hear it. Poor effort was another thing that stuck out. I know everyone's seeing the clips of Bray Hubbard jogging on that play when Florida State scored. I think there's a little more with the effort than meets the eye. I mean, that's one clip. I don't think it was like that every play, but there were definitely several plays where I noticed just piss poor effort, not shedding blocks, not initiating contact, you know, receiving contact instead of initiating contact. You know, offensive play calling seemed weird at times. I'm gonna get in more of that in a second. But overall, I mean, just dominated. I mean, you know, start off the game, Bama drives down, scores a touchdown. You had a 4th and 1 around like midfield, go for it. You get it, you end up dropping, scoring a touchdown. So I mean, you know, I'm sitting there. The offense looked pretty good. It was a lot of stuff going on. I think we ran 1 RPO. We ran the ball a bunch of times. We threw the ball a few times. Pretty good opening drive. Then obviously they get the ball. You know, we had a 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 9. Castellanos throws a flying duck across the middle, a little too high, incomplete, holding on us. That's the story of the last year, and starting this year now is penalties and big moments. Bama did really good towards the end of last year of not having a lot of penalty yards, but having penalties in big moments. So now extends the drive, they end up scoring. So now you're in a dogfight. You know, the next drive we drive down, we're looking fine. We had, I think it was like 3rd and 1. We get a false start and then an 8-yard sack. So now it's a 53-yard field goal. And our poor kicker, Connor Talty, I mean, I don't know a ton about him. I know he's had a lot of ups and downs through the offseason. Comes up short. Then they drive down and score. And, you know, at this point, like, now the crowd's insane and it's just a dogfight the rest of the game. More dogfight in their aspect because we played like dog shit. You know, and then the second half starts. Defense goes out, gets a 3 and out. Offense goes out there and just gets stopped on their 29-yard line on a 4th down play. Just weird play calling all through that drive. The one good thing I can say, and I know Ty Simpson is getting an insane amount of hate. Ty Simpson wasn't going to be a guy that's going to go out there and light up defenses for us. That's not what we thought we needed. Ty threw for like 250, 0 turnovers, and ran around when he had to run around. Yes, sure, there's several plays you can look at and be like, he probably could have went a different route here. There was specifically a 3rd down late in the game. He rolled out left. Everyone knows what play I'm talking about. He could have walked for the first down, but he tries to force it to Ryan Williams, incomplete. That's one that I think me and everyone who watched the game knows he should have ran it. There's a few other ones that stuck out that he could have went different routes, but overall, I mean, look, I was pleased with what I saw from him. Obviously, room for improvement, but overall, not bad. O-line, piss poor. 3 sacks, 14 pressures. 3 sacks, 14 pressures. This is supposed to be the best O-line in the country, right? Several people said that, including myself, but several other people were saying it. This is supposed to be the preseason best O-line. You go out there and you just get bitched all game. That can't happen. Running the ball, you know, we did okay running the ball. Kevin Riley was the one that stuck out to me. Richard Young didn't look great. Kevin Riley had a little juice in him. And it seemed like when he would run, it would kind of work out. We'd have a little hole, or he could cut back and be a little quick to get some yards. But, you know, again, just the O-line just kind of really didn't do what everyone expected them to do, in my opinion. Ryan Williams kind of got that treatment of like, hey, we're not going to let you get open. He was running the slot a lot, which is a new thing for Bama. You know, several times I'd see him get chipped by a linebacker and have a safety crashing down on him with a corner watching from outside. So, yeah, Ryan Williams only had 5 catches, 30 yards, but when they say, hey, you're not going to catch the ball, kind of is what it is. And obviously the story with him, he got a pretty bad concussion middle of the fourth quarter. We'll see how that goes. Defensively, like I said, defense is just softer than baby shit. There's really no way around that. There's not much more I need to say about that. If I had to pick a group in the defense that did well, it'd be the secondary. They had that big 60-yarder, which was actually on Deontay Lawson, which he kind of just got stuck in coverage when he wasn't even really supposed to be in coverage. So obviously you can't really put down the secondary. And then they had a 40-yarder Squirrel White, which was on the secondary, but it was kind of in a weird zone situation. But I mean, if you're getting up 150 yards passing, you're probably expecting to at least be close in the game, right? 8 penalties for 70 yards. Like I said, 2 big penalties on third downs that extended drives, which you just can't have. So I mean that's the story of it, man. I mean, just played soft, played slow. Just seemed like we showed up thinking we were gonna run through them, or at least just do enough to win. Wasn't the case. So I'll let y'all kind of take it from there.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you as Simpson. I mean, the kid came in, he threw for 254 yards, 2 touchdowns. He didn't really make any crucial mistakes of other than like little check downs or something like you said. He should have ran it and try to force it to Ryan. I think the thing that stood out to me was the 236 rushing yards that y'all gave up. That flabbergasted me. I was like, wow, that. And then I think another big factor that kind of laid out there was the lack of a running game. Like Jan Miller was not there. And when's the last time that you've seen Alabama only rush for 87 yards and not break 100? I couldn't tell you the last time I seen Bama not break 100. It was a shocker to me. Castellano, I mean, he did what he had to do as a game player. He 78 yards rushing and a touchdown, kind of just did his thing. Again, I was shocked the entire time. This was a game that I was like, in what world does this FSU team come out and win? And I think got us all shocked for sure. But what do you think about it, Buddha?
Well, one, it's a glorious day. I'm not going to do the whole T-Bob deal, but it's a glorious day. I am someone who has personally been victim to Alabama for the majority of my life. Childhood, teenage, and adult life have been a victim to it. And I still think my brain doesn't compute when I watch what happened, which is Alabama got punked at the line of scrimmage. Right? I think the Vanderbilt game felt like an anomaly. It was the same thing on this line of scrimmage this game. They just got punked on the O-line. There's these effort concerns. To me, the bigger concern as a bystander is like, it doesn't seem like these Alabama DeBoer teams do well to get punched in the teeth. Right? Like I look at the LSU game and they punched LSU in the mouth and they took off and there was no rebuttal to it. Like LSU didn't have a rebuttal, so it was like whatever. When I look at the Georgia game last year, they punched Georgia in the mouth so hard that it was going to take an all-time great comeback from Georgia, and Georgia tried to do it. I don't know how this Alabama team handles being punched in the mouth under DeBoer. I thought Ty Simpson was actually better than advertised. I think if you'd have told a lot of people in a week ago Ty Simpson was going to play like he did, they'd have been like, oh yeah, Alabama's going to win by 40. And also, I'm gonna give credit. We gotta give credit to Tommy Castellanos here. I mean, he talked shit on Alabama all fucking year. We all openly made fun of him, mocked him, us, the national media, everybody. And then he followed up. He followed through with it, and I thought he played really good. They threw. I want to say Florida State only threw 14 passes, right?
Yeah.
Like Gus Malzahn's tweeting. It feels like the old days. It was a shocker. It was stunning. I think I drank the Kool-Aid in Alabama. I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of us subconsciously still see the Alabama logo and just you assume a lot of the things that they struggled with on Saturday, you assume Alabama teams are never going to have that issue. You never assume they're going to get beat at the line of scrimmage. You never assume you're going to see a clip come out of a safety jogging around the field. You never expect those types of things. You never expect a team that went 2-10 last year, their quarterback who got benched at Boston College, to talk shit, and then he never really takes a lick, even, and then So I think I drank the Kool-Aid. I think a lot of it is. I'll also say this: I think Alabama's still going to win 8-9 games, right? Right? Like I had them as a top 10 team before. Like I think Florida State's pretty damn good, right? Like I do think that was kind of surprising. I think Florida State's got dudes. I think Castellanos is a good player in the ACC. I think they're a contender in that conference. I just think if you want to beat Alabama now, it's not about like how can we catch them looking. It's like you just got to punch Alabama in the mouth first and keep punching them because the DeBoer teams to this date have not replied well to that. I mean, they're 5-5 in their last 10, which is unheard of. But again, I don't think Alabama's dead by any stretch. Alabama might beat Georgia, right? Like a lot of season left. It's week 1.
Before you go, Bo, that's one thing I wanted to say too. A lot of people are like, "Hey, Bama's dead. This is over with. This and that." This is week 1. This is a non-conference game. Holds no weight in the SEC whatsoever.
I'll say this, and Cole may agree with me. The idea of the Alabama dynasty is dead, but it's been dead for a couple of years. They didn't die on Saturday, right? They haven't won a national title in a few years. The idea of you could pencil in Alabama to the national title game has been dead for 4 or 5 years now, right? Like,
yeah, and so that's important to note here because anytime Alabama loses, the first thing people say is the dynasty's dead. Dynasty's been dead for a while. I've been opening that since like 2023. You go 3 years without making it to a natty, then in my opinion, like your dynasty's dead at that point, right? Now we're going on what, year 5 without a natty, and the last one was COVID year, which some people don't count. I think it's fine, whatever, but it's still 5 years ago. You can't have a dynasty if 5 years you haven't won a national championship. I get pretty upset when people start throwing that around because it's like doesn't make sense because it's not a dynasty at this point. But yes, I agree wholeheartedly with you that the dynasty this wasn't the end of the dynasty. The end of the dynasty was the last 5 years as a whole.
And also, the dynasty didn't die on Saturday. The dynasty, in all reality, the thought of it died when Saban retired. You can't have the best coach to ever coach college sports retire and think you're not going to have any level of regression. And at the end of the day, they were still at one point last year a borderline playoff team. DeBoer's a damn good coach. There's a lot of talk about fit. And as much as I hate Alabama and I love watching them lose, I've also sat here for the last 3 years and heard people talk about Kelly doesn't fit. And Alabama's no different than LSU or Texas or Notre Dame or Tennessee. You know what fits those programs culture-wise? Winning. If DeBoer rattles off 11 wins, you won't hear a fucking word about he doesn't fit. Now, they got some concerns they got to address, so the narrative fits right now. But at the end of the day, is they lost the greatest coach to ever coach collegiate sports. Well, I mean, to think they would still just be a dominant program is fucking idiocracy. Like,
yeah, and look, you said hats off to Castellanos. I mean, look, the dude talked his shit and then he walked the walk, right? I think Florida State played great. I think if you look at this game from a Florida State perspective, besides the fumble on the punt, I don't know that there was a mistake, for being honest. The drive we drove down and scored to start the game was 9 plays, 8 minutes. You start the game with a 9-play drive. I mean, that's not an easy drive. You're earning every bit of that. So I mean, look, at the end of the day, Florida State goes 10-2. Guess what? We're all looking back at this and being like, well, I mean, Florida State was unranked to start the year, but if they go 10-2, they'll be a top 10 team. One thing too for Bama that I think hurt more than I thought it would was Tim Keenan. We texted in the group chat last week, Boot, I think it was you, asked, like, who's our X factor for our teams? And my first answer was Tim Keenan. Defensive tackle, senior, a named captain on the team, a named leader on the team. He was out for this one. I think that played a factor in defense, getting pushed around a lot. We played 24 guys on defense in this game, which I think usually that number for us is around like 18. In a game that's, competitive. And then, obviously we hit on Jan Miller, but Jaden Roberts was in concussion protocol the last couple weeks, right guard. He was actually cleared to play, and DeBoer and staff decided to hold him out. And he even said today in his presser, he said, look, he could have went if we need him to, but we felt like that wasn't going to change anything. We didn't feel like that was an issue. I definitely agree. I think Jaden Roberts is a freak of nature. I would have loved to have our starting right guard out there when we can't run the ball, but I mean, it is what it is. Go ahead, Bo. Not to cut you off. But.
Well, let me ask Cole a question real quick. I think it was Josh Payton dropped the stat that Bama under DeBoer, they've never had less penalties than another team that they played. They've had at least more every game they've played in. That was the one that when I saw that stat, I think he retweeted it on Twitter. I had actually watched the State show. That was the one when I saw it. I was like, that was the one that was like,
look, it's it's no secret. Like since Saban's retired, Bama's had more penalties than ever. But also in Saban's last few years, Bama was getting penalized just as much as the next guy. I think I think some of the games it was like very close. Like Bama had like 5 penalties for like 40 yards, and the other team would have like 4 for like 38 yards. So it's like I don't think it's as big of a story as Pate's making it. I mean, but anytime you're in that statistic, I think it's a problem, right? That was the story most of last year. In the Vanderbilt game last year, I was on here with y'all. Well, not on here, but I was texting y'all or whatever, saying how ridiculous I think it was that we had, I think, like 5 third down stops. Drives extended because of penalties on us, and it was what I'm not saying it wasn't good. Like it was bad calls. It was bad penalties. I'm saying, so yeah. I mean, look, there was a lot of talk last year of early in the year, DeBoer kind of just being kind of the friend coach, kind of being like a player's coach, and after Vanderbilt, he kind of like switched it up. He started being a little bit more of a coach, a little more stern. Year 2, I'm hearing around campus, he's a lot more stern. I don't know if it's a DeBoer problem. I don't know if it's the players' problem. I don't know what it is yet. But that is a fact that since he's been there, we haven't had a team with less penalties.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to cut you off either, but it goes along with what Cole was just saying. No, yeah, poor Bo. It goes along with. I was going to say it to the end, but you said it about DeBoer being stern or whatever. I'm not sure if you saw it or not. A tweet came out from the Bama message boards about how undisciplined they thought they've seen the team. The guy said that he stayed at the players' hotel room. He saw players up and getting food at like 1 a.m. and stuff like that. Like, do you buy into that or do you not buy into that? Because that shit wasn't going on with Saban for sure.
So much of that is so hard to know, right? I mean, in today's world with how these kids are, like, would it shock me if that's the case? I mean, no. I also understand that, like, if you do bed check and they're in their beds, right, and then they go off, I mean, is that the coach's fault? I don't know how you would fix that in a better way. I don't necessarily buy into it because on that same forum post, I saw several people saying I literally stayed at the hotel, like this wasn't the case, blah blah blah. Would it shock me? No, but I don't necessarily say that I would put all of that on the coaching staff because I don't know how you. What do you do? Sit in the hall all fucking night? Like, I
Yeah,
just don't know how you would really combat that.
Also,
gotcha.
if Alabama wins the game, they're going, look how loose they are. They're ready to play. Message boards are stupid when
Right.
it comes to shit.
Yeah.
Well, finally getting to my point. I'm not I'm not really gonna try to beat the dead horse here. I mean, I really think everything got covered. I think as we've talked about Ty Simpson the whole offseason, he was as advertised. He came out, did his job. He was a very good pocket presence in the at quarterback. I do think a big missing piece they had was missing Jam Miller. I think that FSU game is a lot different now. Granted, yes, they could not stop Castellanos from running out of the backfield, but I do think slowing that game down maybe a little bit and giving Bama a little bit more time on offense with having Jam, I do think that may change the aspect of the game a little bit. Even though the defense was like a noodle strainer, but I mean, that's to come in more weeks. But other than that, yeah, I mean, Bama's obviously got some stuff they need to fix, and hopefully with the return of their right guard next week, maybe we can get a little bit of or in 2 weeks, maybe we can get a little bit better picture of what that team's actually about. So that's all I got.
Yeah, and look, one last thing. I'll just put a bow on this. Not bow, but a bow, obviously.
You're gonna need a bigger
Obviously
box to put me on there.
today's Monday. Like today was the press conference, and look, all the coaches said the right things. And I never know what to believe, what's not to believe after shit like this happens. This is how I felt after the Vanderbilt game. It's just miserable as a fan. They're all saying that the players are responding extremely well. The mood in the locker room was very low after the game. A lot of leaders were kind of crashing out, being like, "Look, like this is bullshit." Keon Sabb was one of the ones named. He's a senior on that team. He's a known voice in that locker room. Caden Proctor, another one who's kind of come on as more of a leader. Ty Simpson took a lot of the blame, which again I've already said I don't agree with. At the end of the day, I do think there is some positives to look at in this. I think with a healthy roster, I think with just coming out ready to play. I mean, a lot can go different, right? If I'm me, if we don't beat ULM and Wisconsin by like 40 or 50 apiece and just completely dominate the game the whole time, I'm gonna be starting to worry. But right now, look, like Buddha said, it's week 1. You could rattle off 11 wins, go 11-1. You could lose one more, go 10-2. You can go 9-3. Any of those are fine options. Obviously, I'd like to go 11-1, but we'll see, baby. Roll Tide. Go ahead, Pete. Or no, Buddha.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on. I think that was all the big games for Saturday. I think no other games really mattered on Saturday.
That's it.
We'll go to Sundays ahead. Now there was a small game. There was a small game of two schools that don't know which one's a real tiger or not. Buddha, how about you let us know who that real tiger is?
Well, first off, the monkey's off the back. LSU answered every question that anybody could bring up emphatically. That they answered everyone. LSU's defense looked like an LSU defense from 2015. I mean, LSU defense flew around the field. I thought the O-line played fantastic. I thought Nuss played incredible. I thought Durham looked like an elite running back. To me, though, the story of the game is LSU's defensive back. Mansour Delane is as good as it gets in the country. I mean, he was like white on rice, right? He was like fly on shit. Right. And if I was a bad guy, if I was an asshole, I'd sit here and tell you about how guys like Pete talked about the O-line was bad and Nuss being 18 means nothing. And guys like Reese Davis, just the gumps out there yelling about how it doesn't matter what you put. That's if I was a bad guy, and I'm not, and I deserve credit for not acknowledging those things. I deserve credit for just saying a win is a win and I'm happy. If I was a bad guy, I would bring up how in this podcast for once in my life, I'm the only guy that won. Again, if I was a bad guy, that's the kind of stuff I would talk about. I would bring those types of things up. I'm not doing it. Please acknowledge how good of a guy I am. But what I will say on a serious note is I thought LSU looked complete. I know the final score was 17-10. I thought LSU was really good offensively. I thought LSU was great defensively. There are some concerns. I don't have concerns, but if I had to point something, like, we fumbled the ball twice, almost 3 times. I mean, Durham's touchdown, he dropped the ball in the end zone, but he still scored. I'm not going to bitch about the call to Berrien Brown. I do think it was a touchdown, but I don't think it mattered. Like, whatever. Those are going to happen. I thought the most impressive thing LSU did was like when things didn't go their way, they just fucking turned around and made plays. LSU, you score this touchdown that's like, feels like a knockout punch with Berrien Brown. They call it incomplete, and then you miss the field goal because your kicker catches a cramp. And it's like, here we go again, and the defense goes 3 and out. At the end of the first half, you go for it on 4th when you should have took the points. I was screaming, take the points in the moment. It doesn't go your way. You're back at halftime. Here we go again. You come out and you dominate the second half. You gave up 31 yards rushing. You ran for over 100. You controlled the line of scrimmage. You went to Clemson, and everybody talked about it. We got Peanut on Twitter talking about decibel levels. This is the real Death Valley. That's stupid. It's also dumb as fuck. I didn't learn until Saturday night that they get in a bus and drive around the stadium to run down that stupid hill. That's the stupidest tradition in college football history. Why would you not build the locker room on top of the hill? I mean, what are these they don't have fucking engineering department at that stupid ass school? Doesn't matter. All irrelevant. Once again, good guy, not going to address those types of things. What I will address, though, is LSU might be a problem if this defense holds up. And I'll leave it at that.
I got you. Hey, I guess we'll call you a good guy.
Yeah, look,
not a bad guy.
Because remember, I could have brought up a lot of bad things. I chose not to.
You should have brought him up. Hey, yeah, they played outstanding ball. Nuss looked all the part. I mean, what can you say? He kind of delivered when he needed to deliver. Durham did the same thing. Whenever they needed him, he stepped up and he made the plays he could do. I mean, I don't see how he only finished with 74 yards. I figured he would have more than that with the way he was running the ball, but they were spreading it out more than anything else. Yeah.
He caught 5 balls.
Yeah. And hey, how about Aaron Anderson? 99 yards off of what I think 6 receptions. Like, I was saying it last year. I thought he was y'all's best wide receiver because the kid, anytime the ball was thrown to him, he was coming down with it. So outstanding game by him. What about Perkins? You didn't talk about Perkins. Perkins looked like he didn't miss a step This guy came out of nowhere who after he got hurt, you were like, I don't know what's going to happen with him. I was sitting there screaming, hey, hopefully he transfers to Texas. I'll take him on Texas. I'll definitely take this Perkins at Texas because this kid was everywhere on the field. Not to mention the Weeks brothers. Every time you turn around, it was another Weeks doing something. And you're like, look at this guy. Okay, look at this guy. Hats off. I mean, hey, I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought it was going to be a lot uglier than it was. Hell of a game. And damn, first win since 2019. Hey, may the streak continue because they did it in a fashion that no one thought was going to happen. I mean, that's all I got on it. What you got on it, Cole?
Well, look, I mean, not to be a bad guy either, but I did pick LSU to win this, so I think I need a little feather in my.
Yeah, Cole could be a bad guy too, but please accept that me and Cole are both really good guys.
No, look, I mean, look. So, I mean, y'all know this, but I'll say it on here. I was at the game. Me and my buddies, our little annual guys trip. So we went to Clemson. The place sucks. I mean, there's no way around it. That stadium sucks. It's quiet. You can read a book in there, and I can't even read really well. So
Believe that.
sorry. So, I had a visitor walk in. Yeah, and I can't read well, and neither can my 4-year-old that just walked. But no, yeah, I mean, look, LSU looks scary, man. I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I've seen a player in person in a long time look as good as Howard Perkins did in that game. The dude's just flying. I mean, he was blitzing backside and chasing down running backs before they got to the line of scrimmage. I'm just like just lightning quick, man. And coming off a big injury like that, that's kind of unheard of, right? Nuss, while it seemed like at times, I don't know if he wasn't comfortable, but nonetheless, even when that would happen, the very next play you would see him kind of look totally fine, right? Aaron Anderson, I can't say enough about him. I've preached that he's the best receiver on that team, and I still think that I think he showed that in this game. The Barry Brown thing was definitely a touchdown. I think there's no way around that. I don't know why they called it not a touchdown. I think the story is that I think LSU might have a guy at corner and Delane. This kid's nasty. And dude, I'm gonna tell you this because obviously, when you're at the game, you see some things that nobody sees. It's not on TV. The kid's a fucking psychopath, brother. He is on the sidelines by himself, shadowing up coverage and dropping back in coverage against air in between every series. Me and my buddy Chase, who y'all know him, he talks on here a lot. We're sitting there and we're just looking at him. We're like, this dude's fucking nuts. This is awesome. It was crazy. Sometimes you just see a baller and you just know it. You could just see him locked in, not missing a beat. I think LSU's pretty damn good. Clemson might be a little overrated. They didn't look really good at all. That game could have been a 3-score game for LSU. If you take a few fumbles away, you make a few calls go different ways, that could be a 3-score game. But no, hats off to LSU, and hats off to me for being a ball knower and picking them to win. So,
whereas I wish I would have went with my gut and picked LSU. I do think one of Clemson's problems was trying to focus everything through Klubnik and trying to pass everything through the air. Where I did say pregame, their biggest issue is not having Maffa in that backfield. Where I don't think it would have made much of a difference with both Weeks brothers and Harold Perkins coming around both sides of the tackles and just laying him out. I do think not having a 1,300-yard running back in your backfield was a big issue for your offense because you couldn't get anything going through the air because LSU's corners and their secondary looked phenomenal all game long. And another player on LSU's offense I do kind of want to highlight that you guys have not mentioned was the 6'7" power forward for their basketball team. They've got it tied in. Trades looked phenomenal in that game. I wish I would have seen him pull down a couple more passes he got, but I mean, I'll take 2 receptions and a touchdown all day long. So, I mean, he looked great. Nuss looked great. Tigers are back. Brian Kelly isn't a fraud. It hurts me to say that, but for a great week one for LSU. Go Tigers.
Yeah,
But
I think Trey Payne's a guy that I think literally anytime you're within the 5 yard line, you just throw at least 2 balls up to him and he's
give him a
going to
chance.
get them. Nobody's jumping with him. I think you have to give him 2 looks on first and goal every time. First, second, and
Well,
goal.
Would agree.
that's the other thing. When they were running him in slot, his speed for 6'7", insane. Off the line. He, you could have just lobbed it up to him anywhere. I don't care if you're 5 yards in or you're on your 30. It don't matter. You lob it up to him, no matter what. It's like Patrick Mahomes with Tyreek Hill. He's down there somewhere, except he's going to be dunking on people. He ain't going to be mossing nobody. He's just going to be dunking over the top of them, ripping it and running. So, Buddha, go ahead. Sorry.
LSU won this football game in a way that nobody thought they could win it. They dominated the line of scrimmage. They played great defense, and they ran the ball. And LSU was multiple on offense running the ball. Xavier Thomas might have been the second lead rusher on the team. He's a wide receiver that they just would motion back there and just let him get carries. I agree with Cole. That game very easily could have been 24-10, if not 27-10. I looked at it a lot and go, if you clean up some of the fumbles, that LSU team beats a lot of teams. That's a complete LSU group because, Nuss, I thought made big time throws. Right, I thought the play calling was special. Right, they started out slow, but I thought the screenplay that they used was impressive. And you can run screen game when you've got Barry and Brown, Aaron Anderson, Caden Durham. When you've got these guys who are just returners, just give them the ball in space and let them go to work. But you got Louisiana Tech this week, so don't expect a whole lot. I think LSU's 38.5-point favorites or something. So, but then the following week, here comes Florida.
That's yeah. Week 3 will be I guess the next test on the schedule. That was my next question going to be to you. Who is RB2? Is it Barry or is it Caleb Jackson? Because they were both so Durham led. Thomas was second. Yeah. Barry had 1 carry and Jackson had 1 carry. Xavier Thomas had 3 carries for 26 yards. He was second in running, and then Johnson was next up with 3 carries for 8 yards. So of course, Durham's your workhorse. I was just trying to figure out what happened with the other backs. So were they just kind of just not playing into it, or?
So my LSU buddies, we were talking today, and I got one of them that's all been out of shape about Durham's a great back, but he's not a bruiser. LSU should have a bruiser. I think LSU is not going to try to force a bruiser when you can get 100-something yards on the ground with what they got, right? I think when you have a guy like Nuss who can make every throw, and you can be multiple on the ground, and I don't think Durham gets enough credit for how tough of a runner he is. He's got great contact balance. I think the RB2 is going to be whoever gets the hot hand early. So Durham is clearly your lead back. I think they're going to get Jawan Johnson, Xavier Thomas, Caleb Jackson, and Harlan Berry touches early in every game. And whoever seems like they got it, they got something going on, they're going to keep giving it to them. So who's the RB2? I don't know. It could be a different guy all 12 weeks. It could rotate between those 4 guys.
Gotcha. I was just curious because whenever I looked at it, we started talking about it, I was like, wait, that's a receiver. That's a receiver. Then it went Nuss, and then it was like, okay, there's 2 running backs that I remember. I was kind of like, all right, I don't know if it just wasn't in the scheme or what.
Jawan Johnson's going to throw 4 or 5 passes this year. He's 5-star. Christian, played quarterback in high school. He's capable enough to throw some passes. They're going to do Wildcat stuff with him at some point.
Well, yeah, they let Thomas throw one. They got Thomas, and he completed a 16-yard completion. So hey, look out.
Anderson.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Wait, what's that?
I said Aaron Anderson ran for 12 of that. If you watch the play, kind of just flipped it to Aaron Anderson, then he looks like a water bug out there.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Man,
we don't need
this
to.
was actually it was kind of sloppy, but kind of good. It was It was a fun game to watch, especially on a Sunday, a recovery Sunday. I would say for sure. I know for me, I don't know about you fellas, but Saturday was a fucking. It was a work. It was a work. But let's get into it. We'll let you lead it off, Bo.
Well, what is there to say other than Mike Denbrock is a dipshit? Aside from not using, a top 10 back last year in the nation at your running back, and you're running your secondary back in Price, which Price looked good, don't get me wrong, but between the two of them, you would have had great running back play had you been running Love and Price in a committee. The whole game. You should have just done that the whole time. I understand you're trying to get Carr in a groove, but running screen passes the whole damn game and you're not getting any movement on it either because they're collapsing in on your wide receivers and you can't get anything going. And on top of that, to start the game, CJ Carr couldn't even complete a pass. So, aside from the deep ball he had to the tight end, he had like 50 or 60 some odd yards prior to that pass. So, aside from our offense, I do want to highlight Carr did well. Especially under the pressure being in Miami, because that Miami defense was not what they had last year. That new hire they got from, I don't remember his name. I know it was Minnesota's DC, but he did a great job kind of turning that program around because that that defense last year. That's why Miami Hurricanes were not in the playoffs because that defense couldn't stop a gust of wind. So, props to them. But speaking of defenses, Notre Dame's looked atrocious. I know we had some key, like 3 and outs there late in the game, but the senior leadership we did have last year and Howard Cross, Jack Kaiser, Xavier Watts, it really showed. We didn't really have any guys, I think, outside of, I think it was the sophomore we've got at edge, played pretty well. But, other than that, like our defense looked rough. So I don't know how we're going to combat that necessarily, but it needs to get figured out pretty quickly because we've got another test here in a week with Texas A&M. But I really don't have much more to touch up on other than Malachi Fields did look really good. Our transfer we got from Virginia this past offseason. So he looked great, and I will highlight him, which we've needed like a very good wide receiver one. But yeah, other than that, I really can't say any more other than our defense really's got to step it up. So Pete, go ahead, take it away. What you got?
Yeah, I think my biggest standpoint and the reason that I picked Notre Dame to win this game was because of Love. And him not getting the ball was I was just kind of like, is he hurt? And it's probably something like that. He probably tweaked something and they didn't want to put it all on. That's what I'm thinking, but this is an outsider looking in. That's the only way I can explain it. You got arguably the best running back in the nation and you're limiting his carries. There's got to be more of a reason behind it to me. That's the only question, like huge question mark I got on is why he wasn't getting the ball. But hey, I think like you said, Carr stepped up when he had to, and he threw the ball pretty good. Hey, y'all got another tight end that's going to be an issue. He had 37. He was y'all's leading receiver with 97 yards. The defense was, like you said, it was something that stood out that you were kind of just like, whoa, okay, this isn't the same that we saw last year. But hey, it was still a close game. It came down to the end. They got y'all by a field goal to end it. Hey, but Notre Dame's not out of it. They're never out of it. This was one of the games that we thought, hey, it'll be a tough one. I'll never pick little brother, so I think y'all walk in, or when A&M comes there, y'all just spank them like y'all normally do and send them on their way because that's just A&M. They're just used to losing big games. Other than that, I don't really got anything. The defense kind of shocked me. The shock that Love wasn't getting the carries. I thought more than anything we would see him be the focal point of y'all's team, especially with a new quarterback. I was leaning heavy on it. That's why I picked Jeremiah Love to win the Heisman. Or no, I didn't. I finished pick second in the Heisman. I picked Klubnik to win it, and let's just face it, Klubnik did not play like a Heisman quarterback whatsoever. But yeah, that's my only points on the game. What do you got, Cole?
Yeah, similar to you, and I think we all kind of thought that Jeremiah Love was going to kind of carry this Notre Dame offense. Was he hurt? Was he not? Who fucking knows? I sure don't. But for him to only get 10 carries, 33 yards, that's pretty bad, man. For a guy with that kind of hype, obviously, right? I didn't catch the end of the game. I don't remember seeing CJ Carr's interception. But I'm looking at stat line right now: 221, 2 touchdowns, 19 of 13 with the pick. I don't know if that was a bad pick or if it was kind of tip ball or whatever it was. However, go ahead, Bo.
The tip ball was a screenplay out to one of the tight ends. The ball got tipped up, fell down, hit off his shoe. The lineman came and picked it and then ran around corner. So tip ball caught up and yeah.
Yeah, so you could chalk that. So I mean, look, if I'm a Notre Dame fan, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at this. I'm like, well, look, we lost a close one on the road to a really good, what looked like a really good defense at least. Carson Beck looked way better than I expected. I was very low on him going into this year. I was low on him at the end of last year. He looked like a vet, which he is, but I mean, none of us expected him to look that good. I don't think. The stat line doesn't really show it, but he definitely made some really big plays for them, especially early on in the game. But yeah, I mean, for me, the story with this one is Jeremiah Love just didn't get the love, So I don't know what you got, Buddha.
There's going to be a lot of talk about was Jeremiah Love hurt or not. I'm not going to mince words when it comes to Denbrock. I thought he fucking completely shit the goddamn bed. I watched every snap of the game, and when I tell you this, when Jeremiah Love touched the ball, he didn't fucking look hurt to me. He was electric when he did touch it. I picked Notre Dame to win that game because I thought they were going to punch Miami in the teeth. And instead, Denbrock got cute. Denbrock tried to make his young quarterback nice and comfortable and happy and give him big plays and just eliminated the best running back in America. So they may even come out with a report that said Jeremiah Love's hurt. I don't believe it. Not for a second. I watched him jump over like 4 dudes last night, and every time he touched the ball, he looked like the best player in America. And they just didn't do it, right? I watched him do a whole lot of try to get easy, cute passes to phase on and see what they could do. I get the tight end had a good stat line. I think part of that is probably the mega play he had right there at the end for like 65 yards. Which was a busted coverage. I mean, he threw a fully loaded po' boy out to him anyway. Just wasn't a terrific. I just couldn't believe Notre Dame got cute. Like, that's not how they got to the title. That's not how they won their big games last year. I'll give Beck credit. I thought Beck looked good. I thought Beck looked like what we thought Beck was going to be at Georgia last year. But Denbrock, just a complete pussified shitting of the bed. Just not giving the ball to your best player. Maybe the best player you've had in a decade. You just go like, we're not even giving the football. That's idiotic. You deserve to lose if you don't give the ball to Jeremiah Love.
Absolutely. I think that's what we got it all, but we're gonna end it on a fun note. There's both.
There it is.
Good God, dude. My phone's disconnected twice. This is ridiculous. One other thing they did. Oh, no, I was just going to say one thing that they did keep doing with Love. I don't know if y'all noticed it or not, but they kept trying to line him up they tried lining him up in the slot a lot. That was one thing they did try to keep doing. So, that was probably another reason why he wasn't running the ball much. Because they were just running him out for like an option. So, which I didn't really care for. So it was very bad play calling on Denbrock's part, in my opinion. I had a lot of friends texting me too, saying, "Oh, what the fuck's Marcus Freeman doing?" I'm like, he's not doing anything. It's all Denbrock. Like, if you want to blame anybody, don't blame Freeman. And I'm not blaming Freeman in the least bit. The only person I'm blaming on that team for that loss is Mike Denbrock all day. Because everyone else did their part outside of our defense. Because again, they look horrendous. I'm not going to touch on it anymore.
Got it. All right, to end out, since we covered all our games, we will be making our picks later in a week. We're ending out on a fun note. Everybody, give me your player of the week for week 1.
For all
of college. Who was your player of the week?
Mansour Delane, LSU. Not even a debate to me.
Player of the week, damn.
Yeah, just threw it out there. Just the last second. I was like, you know what? Let's go with it. I'm gonna tell you mine. It's sorry to do it to you, Cole, but it's Castellano. if you're gonna talk the talk like that in the offseason and then come out and kind of do it and have the biggest upset of week one, I'm gonna have to roll with you. So I'm gonna go with Castellano as my player of the week.
I figured you picked Marge Simpson. You know, you did all this talking about Marge Simpson.
He's drunk and forgot how to be cordial in the group chat. It's fine. I'll go with one. I'll go with the LSU one also. Aaron Anderson. I mean, I think Aaron Anderson's a special player, man. I think you're going to see a lot of games of him getting 100+ receiving yards. I think he'll be in the conversation for some pretty big awards down the stretch. So I'll go Aaron Anderson. I mean, if I had to pick a different one from LSU, it'd be Delane. I mean, I don't think there's any world where he's not in that conversation. And I was at the game, so I feel like it's a good one to pick, right?
This one's a I don't know, man. This one's a tough one. I think I'm gonna go, even though they played a fucking cupcake. I would say out of all of our Heisman preseason picks, old John Mateer, granted he played some bum ass Illinois school, he did have 298 yards and 3 touchdowns though. So I will give him that on his Heisman campaign, folks. Book it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what he does next week against. I don't know if it'll be a good team or not because he's playing Michigan. Well, hey, we'll see. I think somebody said it on Twitter. Battle of the mids. We'll see.
Oh,
we'll see how
absolutely.
We'll see how it plays out. Y'all got anything else you want to close them with, guys?
No, I just want to be very clear. Week one wasn't a total disaster. Hezekiah, whatever his fucking name is, 4-star edge rusher, flipped his commitment from Auburn to Tennessee. It's always a good day when Auburn loses a recruit. Fuck Auburn.
Knew it was coming. Even after the week he had, he knew it was coming.
Also, is that by saying I think this is the first time since like 2014 that Auburn has a better record than Alabama. Just throwing that out there.
True.
No, I saw it today on Twitter. I just chose not to share it with anybody. I just let it marinate. All right, whatever.
All right, guys, we'll jump back on here later in the week and give y'all our picks with our games of the week because we got to look into it because it's not as nice as week one was. It's kind of a step back in gameplay. But hey, as always, we appreciate y'all. If y'all aren't following us on our socials, follow them. We're on everything. That's all we got for y'all. Hook 'em.
Roll Tide, even though we suck.
First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces.